are working in the Himalayan countries of Nepal, Bhutan, and India to improve the quality of life of the Himalayan people, and to work through local partners, building their capacities and building the capacities of the Himalayan people. We have very well defined sort of areas that we want to work in, and it's in the integrated approach of improving education, environmental management, and health services to the people of the Himalayas. At the local level, the local context is so unique. At a distance, one makes all these predictions and thinks that it should be going this way. But actually, only the local people know what's happening, and that's very true in the Himalayas. I've found that every local area has its own complexities. Local partners do come to us with their ideas because they are the ones on the ground. So they see the need. So for example, with a partner in Nepal, which we work mainly on education with them, we have just started a pilot project on a school lunch program. The children were leaving school because they were hungry. So the question that they raised was, how can we deliver quality education if the children can't even stay in school? We should do something about it. So we worked with them on it, and actually they did a needs assessment, of the most sort of impoverished areas, and we've piloted a school lunch program in one very sort of impoverished area. And I think it was good to pilot it because it can be quite challenging in a remote area to do that properly, So that came from them. I think for it to be really effective, it has to be both, a formal process and also an informal process which respects the cultural and local context. While we have very clear policies in terms of how we are practicing designing and implementation of projects and programs, we have a well-developed program management procedures manual about how projects are meant to be co-designed and to have very strong evidence-based monitoring and evaluation systems in place. And through our partnership approach, we also really work on our partners being strengthened in those areas. We always make an effort to go directly to the grassroots communities with them. So recently I was in Nepal. I really spent time to visit, I think, over 6 schools and meet with the school teachers and with the youth, the students, and also the headmasters. I spent quite a bit of time to meet with the local government. And I think through that process, what we do is we really try to take feedback from the local people and the local stakeholders, and also bring the children's voice into how did they feel about the scoping study, were they really part of it or not, So in that way, it's not just a co-design between the local NGO partner and us, but we actually really work ourselves directly to have the grassroots voice. Partners also carry out annual planning reviews with their team. Together with that, we do the organizational and project level risk assessments with the partners yearly to identify with the partner the areas that they need some strengthening on. We are supporting training at the project level for safe motherhood preparedness, and also for birthing. We are also supporting training on project management, accounting systems, and bookkeeping. For the new project up in the Everest area, we are supporting our partner to have more exposure around the climate change initiatives in the country, to understand what they are doing and to collaborate with them. And that comes from this strong partnership approach we have. Well, I think it's very important that we have a very strong monitoring and evaluation plan, frameworks, and a system in place, and to have evidence-based programming, as we call it. It's also something that we've really worked with our partners, because I think on the operation side of things, what happens is people just want to get on with it, and they are fantastic at doing lots of stuff, but then they don't spend the time and the effort on gathering the evidence. So then it becomes quite difficult to show what were the outcomes and the results. So I think, for example, with the Nepal education program, which is called Teachers Training and Quality Education, we have, AHF has worked with that program since 2005. It just started with pilot activities, and over time it's become a really big program, long-running program with us. We trained up the staff also in M&E and program logic, and then worked with them on very strong frameworks so that they can actually collect the data to look at the learning achievement of children, and to also look at a range of other sort of indicators that provide evidence on very clear outcomes. I think it's very important to have a very clear end goal. For us, in the TTQE, it is like quality inclusive education for all children of that project area, and then also to have very clear outcomes leading to that, and then working with the partner on the measurable indicators around a very strong sound like program logic and a theory of change and a very sound M&E, robust M&E sort of evidence gathering sort of plan, which is what we have done with them. Of course, it's very important to have evaluations of the project, at key points, whether it's midterm and for a long-running project, at certain stages. And it's also very important, I think, to have an external agent do your evaluation. It could be like at a time when you're like sort of reviewing and ready to upgrade, which is what we did with the TTQE in Nepal. So we had an independent, expert come to look at it, And we made very sure we had the voice of the children there. This was an education program for the children. And that was really, really important. I think the children said a lot of things, They said a lot of things. Not necessarily all of them are good things, but it was really learning, a big learning for us to hear the voices of all the stakeholders there. And that really helped us to upgrade the program to make it even more effective. We have a very well articulated strategic plan, which is now coming to an end next year, so we'll be reviewing that. So it's 2015-2020. So that was done with a strong consultation of the team and with the board directors, and also taking the feedback and inputs of our partners. From there, we have an annual roadmap broken down into like quarterly deliverables that we identify across our program areas and also the marketing, fundraising, and the different operational areas. We have a partnership strategy too, along with the strategic plan, which I feel is like equally important in the way we define who we are and in our approach. And we try to really keep to our principles in the strategic plan and the partnership strategy, which is really about collaborating with the local partners, co-designing programs, having very clear goals and outcomes, and with that a very evidence-based process where we take feedback from the stakeholders, from the partners, from the team on the ground to constantly sort of upgrade the project and the programs. So that's a continuous process.